And let's start then. We're going to discuss today this new release, which is TrueConf Server, the next major version, 5.3. I hope you can see my slide deck. Just a moment. Okay. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I can see your questions. And it will take approximately 1 hour to cover everything. Rudolf, if you have any questions, also please interrupt me. I believe this way we will be able to discuss this topic from different points of view, and it will be more useful for all our participants.
Okay, I'll interrupt you.
Thank you. So this new version, as you might see from this title slide, is about the new type of users we're going to introduce. The new type of users is called Pro users, and in a little bit I will cover and tell you what does it mean. But before we process to the new licensing and the net pricing, and believe me, there will be a very good news for all types of our customers, for end users and for partners, because we prepared this release for almost 1 year. We received a lot of feedback from our customers, and we believe that this new type of licensing will answer all those questions. But before we proceed to that, let's see what will change in this new version. So what we did is, in addition to the Outlook plugin, in Microsoft terms, it is called add-in. We also developed the version for second most popular calendar platform, which is called Thunderbird. It is open source mail system with a Lightning calendar inside, which is now fully compatible with our platform, with our server. So users, not just in Outlook, but also in the Thunderbird, will be able to create meetings and fulfill the invitation letters automatically with all information about scheduled conference from TrueConf Server without the need to additionally create the meeting. So you just click a button and the plugin will automatically fill up the email with all conferencing details, invitation details, and you just need to click send to send the invitation to the meeting. We also created the new version for Microsoft Outlook because the first initial release we did half a year ago was about the web version of Outlook, which comes along with Microsoft Office 365 and later. However, many of our customers still using the previous version of Outlook application and Exchange Server. So we decided to release an additional add-in from Outlook version 2016 or less. So if you are using 2016 or less Outlook application, now we can offer you the new MSI plugin, which utilizes the technology called COM technology, which actually has more features than the web version, which is only available in Office 365 at the moment. So now you have two options. Both options support massive deployment. So customers are able to deploy the Outlook plugin across all workstations through Exchange Server. Both the web version and the MSI version can be used for that. And also we did support not just for Thunderbird. Thunderbird is the base version for many let's say forked white labeled versions of mail applications used in many countries. So if your customer using, let's say, some other mail system, which is based on Thunderbird plugin system, Mozilla plugin system, we also support that. And Mozilla plugin can be used for Office solutions like OnlyOffice, for example, which is also quite popular, OnlyOffice. In Russia, we have some additional local Office systems, Office application, which is also supported with that release. The next thing is about the customization of the letters created by mail plugins. So now you can use different variables inside those templates. We also allow you to edit the default template for Outlook plugin, Thunderbird plugin, and that text, which can be set up in the control panel of TrueConf Server, is added to the text entered by user. So we do not replace what user entered in the invitation letter. We just add this template, this text below the text entered in the mail application by user. We also added a special checkbox. So now it is possible, if you put attention to the left part of the screenshot, the latest checkbox. So it is now possible to include the PIN code for the meeting into the Outlook invitation. We do not recommend to do that. This is totally not secure. So every time you are sending invitation link and the PIN code in the same message, same email, this is totally not secure. However, customers are constantly requesting us to do that. I don't know why. It brings no security at all if you send the PIN code using the same medium, the same channel. So it's always recommended to send PIN code using the second type of channel. If you are using email for invitation, you use Messenger to deliver the PIN code and vice versa, but not together. But anyway, we just added this checkbox. Don't recommend to use it, but some users really want to have it. We also added the ability to enable and disable waiting rooms in real time. Waiting rooms is a new feature. It was introduced in the latest release 5.9, and in the latest release it was only possible to enable waiting room before the actual conference has started, but not afterwards. So what we did, now it is possible to enable and disable people to join the waiting room any moment. We also bring up the log conference feature to this conference info dialog window. So you don't need to go to the advanced conference control settings very deep under the hood of our system to log the meeting. It is immediately available in the informational dialog as well. So you can see the last checkbox in this list, log the conference, which actually blocks every user to join your meeting except an operator. Operator is a special type of users on the server which can join any meeting for immediate support of the users, usually IT team, IT guys at the end customer side assigned with operator roles. But for everybody else, lock the conference will lock it permanently until you remove this checkbox, and you can do this any moment. Some use cases, for example, you are participating in the public conference. That means the guests can access it, and you are not able to verify guests. They are anonymous. Any person from the internet, which could be not secure. It's always not secure to be in a public conferences. Even PIN code, especially if it is delivered in the same email, doesn't bring any additional protection layer. So it is nice to have the log conference feature. So if you see that all people you want to see are there, you just log the meeting and you are safe. And another case is, for example, the interview. If you would like to discuss something in private, you can move the specific person or bunch of people to the waiting room, and they will not be able to see and hear you during the same conference. It's like isolated room for your private conversation during the conference. And once you are ready and you discussed everything in privacy, you can return those users from the waiting room back to the conference, or the person who is participating in the interview, for example. So there are many cases, and this is pretty useful. Another very nice feature was added to the conference planner. So now, if you enable the waiting room when you create a conference and before it is started, you can you can select the policy for the waiting room. In our system, where many customers have their own servers, and we're not a cloud solution. So in our system, we just having not just guests, anonymous users who join a meeting. We also have federated users. Federated users, that means that it is a users who are authenticated. They are not anonymous, but they are authenticated on third-party TrueConf server. And in many countries, this is a very common scenario, especially in government, when one ministry or administration of some region using our server and another region or ministry using it, and they can call each other happens every day. It's a very common scenario. So now, for waiting room settings, we can select very useful options. For example, we can automatically move all but guests to the conference. So only unauthenticated anonymous users will be placed in the waiting room, while your local users or users authenticated on other servers, federated users, will be allowed through immediately without any questions asked. Or we can select, for example, that only local users are able to skip the waiting room, while guest users and federated users from remote servers will always connect through the waiting room, and they will need an approve from moderator to be moved into the actual conference. So now you can select this behavior when you plan the conference, which is also pretty useful. So we recommend this to do for most of your public meetings. So if you create a public conference with people you don't know, it will be very wise to move everybody but local users to the waiting room. And once you will be ready, you check your microphone, your video, your slide deck. You will be sure that you're not capturing something you don't want to share. You can move all people from the waiting room to the conference. We also added special tools to automatically delete the old conferences. This is a very common problem because many users create a lot of virtual rooms, virtual meeting rooms using Outlook, or they create a lot of scheduled meetings in their applications. In some cases, it could be tens of thousands of conferences. And believe me, the web interface of your server become a little bit sluggish when we have to display tens of thousands of conferences, and most of them are useless because they are either finished or they are virtual rooms but not used anymore because they were created by Outlook plugin, for example. So what we did is a kind of video register settings, so we can be instructed to automatically delete all scheduled conferences after a specific period of days after the moment the conference has ended. But for virtual rooms, we do not have the end moment because it is always active. So we can help you to delete them automatically based on the information when the last time any user was in that conference. For example, virtual room exists forever, but inside the virtual room there are many sessions. When anybody joins the virtual room, new session starts, and when someone, the last participant, leave the virtual room, the session ends. So we can measure the time from the last session. And if it is above, let's say, like on this slide, you can see 30 days, the server will automatically remove this virtual room. So those settings can significantly help you to get rid of old conferences. However, the information about those conferences in the events, in the log files, in the statistics will be available. However, they will not be visible for users in their personal area, in their planner, in the applications, and it will not be visible for system administrator in the list of conferences. However, log files and everything will stay there. Yes.
Lev, what about the media files, for example, from this scheduled Quantum conference?
The media files, chat messages are stored in a different way in the database. They are the different objects. They are not conferences. So they will remain intact. So if during the conference participants exchanged files and messages, they will remain in the log of their chat. They will be there. But in the list of conferences, this is basically important for administrators. This conference will not be visible, so it will not, the garbage the view of administrator or user if they create a lot of conferences. And what is also important here is we also added a special filter for the list of conferences, which help if you are an administrator, of course, because this is a control panel feature. So now administrators can create a filter for conferences created by Outlook plugins or users or some other third-party application and add-ins. So now we have a special filter type. So you can select, let's say, all conferences or virtual rooms created by your users in the Outlook, for example. And this will also help to get rid of unused conferences and at least to have a look on the conferences created by users or created in the plugins. So this filter is also available in the new release. We're also thinking that it is, from security point of view, it is also important to show your users that the conference is being recorded. So we added the special icon for both web browser application and desktop and mobile applications, which shows and confirms that the conference is being recorded right now on the server. As you might know, we also have the recording on the client side, but client-side recording always requests a permission from user to be recorded, which is not very comfortable for many administrators. So most of the times our customers, they enable server-side recordings. And it was not very obvious to check if it is enabled. For example, you joined the meeting, which is quite important, and you want to be sure, like this webinar, that it is being recorded. So now you can see this immediately from the UI of the application. You don't need to ask administrator to check if it is enabled or not. You don't need to go to the advanced conference settings to enable and to disable it and enable again. You're just seeing this. And this icon is also a sign that you are not being recorded, so you can feel more comfortable. So you can discuss more private things to make sure that this recording will not appear on the server panel and administrator will not be able to replay it and play it back. So also a minor thing, but also has a great security importance for us. So that's it. Let's move to the important part of this webinar, to the new licensing. By the way, I think last time we changed our prices, it was more than 10 years ago. You just can imagine that. That was so long time ago, very long time ago. Some of participants probably went to school by that time, but we didn't change the prices since then. We didn't change our licensing model, and we are not going to change that. That's important. We are going to give you the more features, more possibilities with a slightly small change. We will change only one thing in our licensing model, but give you much more. So let's talk about that. So this is the new thing, which is called Pro User, PRO. We decided to remain intact all previous terms, all previous names of our licenses and type of users, type of conferences. We do not change them. We don't want to confuse our users. We don't want you to learn new things. We don't want you to explain to your customers about new terminology. So everything is intact except one thing, the pro user. So, and that pro user thing is extremely simple. So what we did, we now allow only pro users to be inside the conference. So conference creation, conference scheduling, editing, access of analytics after the conference, logs, recordings, whatever. It doesn't require pro user. It can be done by every user, but the actual presence inside the conference requires special status, which is called pro user. As you might know, our licensing model is based on online users, and we decided to remain them. So the online users stay with us for a long period of time. They will be here. However, starting from the version 5.3, online users will not be able to do just one thing, to be inside the conferences. They can try to call it, but it doesn't make any guarantee that they will be allowed to be there inside. However, all other features, actually everything except for conference participation, is available for online users. Online users can exchange messages, exchange files, participate in group chats, make point-to-point calls. No limitations at all on the quality, on the duration, nothing. We just remove the privilege to be inside the conference. That's it. And the idea behind this change is that with this new separation between online users, let's call them chat users, for example, and pro users, which is multi-point conference users, is that now we are able to offer you and our customers, online users, at much better rate, at much better price. So now Pro users will be, actually they will cost the same like regular online users, but online users will be way cheaper, actually starting from 4 to 10 times cheaper depending on the size of the conference. We will cover this at the end of this webinar, but the idea is that now we can boost the penetration of the customer network with our system, because more users will be able to join TrueConf Server, authenticate on it, with a much less price being paid. And we carefully selected all parameters. We carefully selected the logic of this new system to make sure that our partners will be able to bring more value to the customers and actually make more sales. That's important. And actual customers, they will receive more features and they don't need to pay for them. So this is a very powerful approach we selected. And behind that, a simple change of the pro user behavior, conference participation, there are a lot of logic inside. So it will take some time to explain you, but let me try to do that. So if you have questions, this is really important for our partners. Ask the question. So let's me explain how it will work. Pro licenses, it is the same like a pro user, pro status. Think of it, it's like the same. So pro licenses can be assigned on a permanent basis or temporary basis. Why we introduce permanent pro licenses? It is important. For example, if you let's say director, CEO, or some other important guy in your company or your end user company, this important guy, even if he is not online, even if he is not using the system, he should be able to participate once he will become online in the conference. He has to be, or she, he has to be sure that every time he needs to be in the conference, he has to be there. That's why we created permanent pro licenses. Administrators can assign permanent pro licenses to the groups of users, not for individual users, but for groups of users. And they are assigned on a permanent basis forever. It doesn't mean this user online, offline, he consumes the pro license all the time. But we recommend you to do that only for important users, users who usually host large meetings, users who are heads of some departments, and to use all other pro licenses as a pool of free, not free, but actual vacant, let's say the vacant licenses. So let's say we have 100 licenses on our server, 100, and we can assign, let's say 30 permanent licenses for important users, and 70 will be in a pool of vacant licenses, and they can be used by all other users of your server. And this is what we call temporary licenses. So temporary license is automatically assigned from the pool of vacant licenses to every user who joins the meeting, if such temporary license is available. Because if you assign all pro licenses to groups for permanent users, none vacant licenses will be available, and that means other users will not be able to receive the temporary license. So we always recommend to have the proportion, let's say 20 by 80. 20% of pro licenses should be assigned to important people, and 80%, even more, should be in a pool of vacant licenses, which can be assigned on the usage basis. And to make sure that our sales will not be affected much, we make this temporary license with a special feature, which is called timeout, a special timeout, which is 24 hours. So it is a sticky feature which sticks to the user. That means if any user receives the pro license after joining the conference, this pro status sticks with them, with that user for 24 hours. And the counter for 24 hours will start to count after that user left the conference. While he's in the conference or she's in the conference, the counter don't count, and we start to count time after that user left the conference. So if a user use a conference very often, it is not an issue. But if a user joins a meeting time to time, let's say maybe 1 or 2 times a week, it actually helps to reuse the pool of licenses, and the customers can only pay for those users who are not using very often, so don't need to pay for all the time for that user. So because that license can be reused after 24 hours. But if your users are very active and use conferences more often than once a day, so we recommend to buy a pro license for that user. And it is also important for administrators to be able to control that. So any moment, administrator can revoke the license and bring it back to the pool of vacant licenses any moment. So we don't have limitation on that. Administrator can remove a license from a user to help other user to receive that license. It is also possible to hide the information about pro licenses for users. There are special settings in the server which helps administrators to pretend that nothing changed. So we can create an environment for users in which everything will be the same, like now, like for all the previous licenses we have. Because we can hide the information in the client application about the pro licenses, and we can prohibit users to request such licenses. And this scenario is possible if you have the same number of pro users and online users. I will tell you difference in a moment, but the idea is that if you want to continue to use our server in the same way like before, and don't want to move to this more affordable online users and more expensive pro users with the ability to join meetings, we are not asking you to do that. So you can stay the same. However, make sure that you have the same amount of pro licenses and online licenses, and you can hide that from your users using those settings. So how does it look like? Just a moment. So we have a special licensing setting page on TrueConf Server control panel, where you can see the actual list of the users who has a permanent online status and the users who receive temporal online licenses. You can also see the number of available vacant pro licenses, which forms this vacant pool of licenses, which can be reused by other users. I'd like to pay attention to the fact that only groups can be assigned with a pro license status. And when you assign a group, we do not immediately reassign all licenses, temporal or vacant licenses, to the permanent licenses, because it can create issues and problems. For example, if you add to the list of permanent group pro license a large group which actually has more members than the available number of pro licenses, it will actually remove all pro licenses from all other users. It could create a problem, because if a user is inside the conference and administrator remove his pro license, he will be disconnected from the conference because he is not able to be there, because he or she don't have the pro license anymore. And to avoid this, we apply those settings only when the service of TrueConf Server, the video conferencing service, is being restarted. Not the machine, not the computer, but the service. You can do this any moment from the control panel. And it will also be applied every 24 hours after that. So once you start this service, the permanent licenses are being reassigned to the new groups, new members, and it will happen automatically every 24 hours. So we believe that usually our administrators, they start the service not during the working hours. So it is the safest strategy to reassign that in the most safe time, which we believe is 24 hours after the start of the service. But any moment it can be done if the administrator wants to restart the service. While temporal licenses, they are assigned automatically and they can be revoked manually by administrators any moment. No need to restart everything, because you are not able to create any problems for other users if you revoke the license. But if you create a large group with many users and assign it to the pro license, it could consume available licenses, even free, temporal license and disconnect some users. That's the screenshot and the list of temporal users with a temporal pro license. And you can see the crosses on the right side of the screenshot. You can see the crosses. So if administrator click on that cross, the pro license will be revoked from that user, and it can be reused for other user. And if in that moment, when administrator revoked the pro license, that user was located inside the conference, it will be disconnected from the conference. So please pay attention to the status. If the user is orange status, that means he's in call or inside the conference. Please make sure that he will be aware that you will revoke his status. We also redesigned a little bit the UI of the application. So now it is possible for users to see whether they has that pro status or they don't have the pro status. It's also possible to request the pro license from the profile tab inside the application for the users. If administrator allowed to see that status, because in some cases it can be hidden by administrator, but if it is not hidden, users can request the license and check the availability of their license. We are not currently allow users to see each other's pro status. It is hidden. Otherwise, it will become a kind of badge, and all users, like a medal, will request administrators, "Hey, I also want that status. I'm an important guy at that organization. I also need it." But so we decided to hide it, to create a less number of requests for administrators. Our idea is that it is better to reuse the pro licenses. It's better to have more available licenses in the pool of vacant pro licenses, but not to assign them. They will be assigned automatically. But the idea is that most of the users will use chat and point-to-point calls, but only some users will use conferences, and only for some users that pro licenses will be needed to be purchased, while other users can use more affordable, cheaper online user licenses. Okay, that's the idea behind the pro users. So let's go in some details, how it's going to affect the existing installations. So first of all, the idea
this is one of the most important part.
We always recommend, to update and to use the latest version of our server. It's not about new features, actually. It's not about new benefits the new licensing can bring you. The idea is that every quarter we release the security update. And this is really important because TrueConf Server, like every other pieces of software, like operating systems, web servers, databases, whatever, is a very complex system. And like every other complex system, it might have some vulnerabilities. It doesn't mean that we create them, of course not, but our system is being scanned like rentgen by every major customer. So we have so many pen tests, you can't believe how we are being penetrated and tested every month by very large organizations across the globe. And during those pen tests, different researchers can find different things we have to fix, and we fix them. And we release security updates. In every release, we include security update. So it is important to update not because of the new features, but to be sure that your existing installation is safe. And it doesn't only affect us. We also recommend you to update everything you have. This is very important nowadays to run the latest version of the software, which is secure. So if we go back to the upgrade process, it is important to understand that we decided that new licenses can only be applied to the new server and vice versa. So it is not possible to receive a new license and start to use it on the old server. It is also not possible to install the new server and try to apply on it the old license. It doesn't work. So our registration server which works online and offline according to your needs, will always verify the version of the server, and only the new version of the server will be able to use new license with the pro users. If you have older version, it will not work. This is pretty simple, so you can try to do that, but it will not work. It also creates some safety for the administrators, because otherwise it will be not very clear for your users why they're not able to join the meeting using the old license. So we decided to avoid all those problems, and we just separate the world. So if you are using older versions, you have older licenses. If you have a newer version, you have a newer license. Not possible to cross them in any way.
Lev, but if there's a user and he didn't see this webinar, but today he updates to the latest version, will his license be changed?
Yes, we will issue special transfer licenses for every update, successful update. Please pay attention that we require for customers with a lifetime license to have the purchased support plan to receive the new version update. It happens all the time. Every time we release the major update, that means either the first letter, first digit, or second digit is changed. So when we receive the next version 5.3.1, no need, it is not a major update, so we will not check your update. Is it possible for this customer to update or not? But when the new version is major version is released, we always require the verification process. And if you have a 1-year license, you don't need to purchase a support plan to receive update. But if you purchased a lifetime license, let's say 5 years ago, and want to receive the new version, we have to verify that you have an active support plan to provide you with the update. Nothing new. It's like 10 years. We never change that. This process is available for many years so far. However, it is important to get in touch with us in any way or through your partner, so we can verify your license. It's requires 1 minute. Any day except on Sundays. Just get in touch with us by a live chat on the website, through the partner, from email, through the technical support ticket, through our communities in Telegram or WhatsApp, or our partner Discord community, whatever is convenient for you. And we need a key, and we will check the availability of the update for you, and we will enable a special checkbox for that license. And the upgrade process will check the license after the start of the new version, and you will receive the new license automatically, and the service, the TrueConf Server service, will start automatically without any issues. If you, by some reasons, if you don't ask us in advance about this verification process, the new version will not start, and the service will be stopped, and that could be a problem. So don't update the product during working hours and without our recommendation. So get in touch with us first, or with our partner, to get this verification process done before the actual upgrade. So if you're eligible for the upgrade, we will automatically create a new license for you on this basis. So for every N online users, we will create N online users plus N pro users. So that creates the same experience, the same environment like before, because actually all of your users will be able to participate in conferences, so no difference at all. And that's not all. This transit license will be created automatically by our system, but we actually want you to receive more benefits when you move to the new licensing, to the new version. And if you call your manager or get in touch with us by any means, we will automatically add additional online users. I mean, users who are able to use chat and video calls. For every license, free or purchased, who is eligible for upgrade, we will manually add additional plus 50% of online users. So if you have, for example, right now you have a license for 100 online users, that means once you upgrade and get in touch with us, we will automatically create for you a new license for 150 online users and 100 pro users. And this way, you will be able to ask your users to run TrueConf application from different endpoints, from smartphones, home computers, or you will be able to connect more colleagues to the system. So this way, our system can be used as a corporate messenger, as a communicator application, not just a conferencing application. So you will be able to communicate with your colleagues using chat and files, audio calls, video calls, any moment. And it will be very affordable. And we are really looking into that. So because TrueConf right now is much more than just a conferencing tool. It's actually a collaboration platform. And we're going to introduce, as we did before, new features every quarter. We have a large team working on this every day, and new features are coming very often. We have a lot of updates. So we believe that we'll actually create a benefit for the customer, because more of the conferences, more of their communications will be secure, more of their communications will happen through the local server. And for some customers, it will help to get rid of WhatsApp groups, which is not secure, which is not under control of the IT team of the customer, to get rid of some other platforms which actually fragment and separate users from each other. Some people are inside the some people are using a company infrastructure, some people are not using. This is not very safe. So we're trying to create a collaboration platform for the organizations who's using us as a video conferencing platform. We are trying to ask them and give more users to start to use our as a corporate messenger as well.
Just to underline, you said regarding the pro user that one pro user consumes a pro license and an online license. So in total, if they get a transition, they can add additional 50 users, which will be able to chat and do one-to-one calls.
Yeah,
Is that
that's
right?
correct. Very good question, actually, Rudolf. Yes, Pro license is not a kind of license which can be used for authentication. Every time user authenticates from any endpoint, from any application, online user license will be consumed. Like it is happening right now, no changes here. So the only benefit Pro license gives a user is the ability to be inside the conference. So that means it is not possible to use Pro license as a messenger license. Not possible. Pro license is only for conferences. But if you want to be online, if you want to be able to be called by your parties, by your colleagues, or you want to exchange messages with your colleagues, you need an online user license anyway. So that's a good example. We also introduced the new feature that means it is now possible to purchase separately additional packages for online users. We will include 150% for free of the number of pro users to your license. But if you need more, you can purchase an additional package by 50, 100, 200, up to 500 online users any moment. And actually, those licenses will be very, very affordable. It will be more affordable than the guest user licenses. Actually, it will be 4 times cheaper than pro users. And if you buy a larger package, it will be even up to 10 times cheaper than the price for pro users. And it will help some customers to get rid of guest connections, because some customers are using more affordable guest licenses for internal communication, which is not good. It's better to have permanent connections with your employees, with your colleagues, to use our application as a messenger application communicator, because in this scenario where guest users are used, it is always like web conferencing. You join the meeting using the link and you're not able to use application afterwards. While with the more cheaper online users, users can be connected. You can see their status. You can exchange in any way, in real time or not in real time, using chat with them, the information, the messages, and that will help to get connected more users. We also decided to provide, sorry for this funny picture, but this is a serious stuff actually. We decided that all customers are now eligible for free LDAP integration. So we have a special add-on extension to our server, which provides support for LDAP catalogs like Active Directory, IPAE, or Open LDAP, or 389. It depends on the country. In different countries, them local variants, but most of them are working through LDAP protocol. And in addition to the automatic synchronization of user base, those catalogs also have important thing which is called authentication. So once the user authenticate in the domain, we can authenticate him or her in our system as well. And this is called Kerberos authentication or NTLM authentication. We also do provide support for some other authentication methods like Active Directory Federated Services, ADFS. Some customers, they use Keycloak or OpenAuth. So there are many different authentication platforms. We do support all of them. And this feature is now available for all users free of charge, even in free type. In the TrueConf Server free version, it is also available. So nothing hidden is here. And our idea is that we really want our customers to import all users into the system. But actually, we do not import users. We actually check authentication credentials with using NTLM or Kerberos or DFS with the catalog. However, every user after that will be able to authenticate in our server. No need for administrator to send the login and password and tell users that you are able to use this solution, you are not able to use. Everybody is able to use. However, the server will be limited by number of online users and pro users, like before. Very simple. So Active Directory is free for everybody. We also decided
a lot of gifts today.
It's not a gift, it is an important step actually, because we believe that it will help to start to use our solution, not just the video conferencing, but as a messenger more often. That is an important thing to remove these limitations to allow more users inside the organization to use the platform. So that's the idea. We also decided to give for free the streaming extension. It is not used very often because our conferences can be very large, up to 1,500 participants, but sometimes we need to stream. If you don't know that, it is possible to output the conference or participants from the conference using NDI or RTSP, RTMP to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. We have different presets. And that extension is now free for every user, for every customer who has a paid support plan. If you don't have a paid support plan and don't want to buy paid support plan, you can still order this extension. But if you are already a paid support customer, just get in touch with us. We will provide this extension for you for free. So we don't want to charge for it anymore. If you ask me, do I need to buy the Pro license for every SIP user in the conference? Or do I need to buy the Pro license for every guest user connected from the browser to the conference? And the answer is no. We do not bring any changes to guest connections, SIP connections, or H323 connections, or RTSP connections. So Pro users are only for our own protocol. And if you already have in your license or plan to purchase guest connections for webinars or SIP connections for legacy equipment in your conferencing rooms like Cisco, Poly, Ring, whatever, those connections will not eat and will not use the Pro licenses because we already charge you separately for them. So no changes there. So no surprises. This is a very straight approach. So how to get the new license? Very simple. Get in touch with us. We will verify your status. Are you able to upgrade to the new major version? Let me remind you that all 1-year licenses are able to do that. And all lifetime licenses who have active support plan are also able to do that. And download the new version, and that's it. It will start automatically. However, please make sure that you install the new version above the previous version, because database evolves and becomes more complicated, and we do not recommend to deploy the new version above the very old version. So if you have, let's say, version 4 something or 5.0, it is recommended, strictly recommended, to sequentially update your system with the older releases, and in the final stage you update the 5.3 version to 5.3 version. Our technical support team will provide you with a detailed guide and the links to every release, every distributive for your Linux or Windows machine, and you will be able to do that quickly without any problems. Okay, so some examples. Let's have a company who has 100 online users, 20 SIP connections, and 50 guest connections in its license. So once that company upgrade to the new version 5.3, it will receive 150, that means 50% more online users, the same number of online users than pro users. So if in this example, a customer have 100 online users, that means he will receive 100 pro users, the same amount. So we are not trying to harm our customers. So we are actually giving more. And if you're already our customer, after the upgrade, you will actually receive more online users and the same amount of pro users. So we don't charge anything for the additional technical support. We don't charge anything for additional online users. So everything will remain intact for you, but you will receive more capabilities. Another example, if the customer have 300 online users, that means after the upgrade to 5.3 version, this customer will have 450 online users and 300 pro users, while other parameters in the license like SIP connections and guest connections will remain intact.
In short, it is multiplied by 1.5, right?
The number of online users will be multiplied, by 1.5. Some small details. This is something we already have. This is nothing new, but not many partners and customers know that. So let me explain you. For example, you can use your login and password to authenticate on, let's say, on five different devices. It could be your home computer, your iPad, your smartphone, your laptop, on your work desk, or it could be a room endpoint. So you can be authenticated actually on any number of devices. And with every authentication, successful authentication by the same account on different devices, the new online license will be consumed on the server. We already have this. It's happening every time. However, we consume online license while the application is online. If your application is sleeping, and on mobile devices is happening all the time. So after 30 seconds of an activity, iOS and Android actually get rid of our application. So it's removed from the memory and it becomes offline. But we show this mobile application with special statuses like a green circle with empty white space inside. That means most probably this user will be able to receive push notification and our application will be back to life again, bring to life using push notification, resurrected from the operating system sleeping status. It is also applicable for desktop machines. For example, you start your working day at home and you left your home, your computer went to sleep, hibernate, and the operating system removed our application because all applications are being, during hibernation, applications are being removed to the solid state drive, to your hard drive from the RAM, and actually power cut off from the computer, it's sleeping, and this moment the license will be released again. However, there are statuses like away, which is assigned while computer is not hibernating but sleeping. For example, your laptop lid is not closed, or you don't have hibernation set up on that computer. So we will show you as a way. It will not release the online license. And if you install do not disturb status, if the user has do not disturb, it doesn't mean he's offline. He is actually online. He will see all incoming messages. He will be able to be reached for users who will forcefully, I will try to recall them. It also do not release online users. So only sleeping application, which is not used at the moment, is releasing online users. And with pro users, it is different, because pro users is assigned not just for endpoint from which user is authenticated, it is assigned to the account. And in that scenario, I described it previously. For example, I'm authenticated using the same account on different machines, computers, smartphones, laptops, whatever. It could be my desk phone, my Cisco desk phone, for example. We can authenticate on it as well. So if you create a new conference from every authenticated endpoint, it is possible right now. It is something we call multi-login. No limitations here. So you can be authenticated on 5 different endpoints, and you can create or join 5 different conferences from those authenticated endpoints. And we will consume from the server 5 online users, but only 1 pro user status, only 1 pro license, because pro license is attached to the account, not to the endpoint. So if you will try to create 10 different conferences for the same user from 10 different devices, which is absolutely legal, you will only consume 1 pro license. That's important. However, if the user go to offline status, this is different from online user. The pro license will not be released. So if online user goes offline, online license is released. If pro user goes offline, pro license is not released until 24 hours if he has a 10 pro license. You get it. And for SEEP, H323, RTSP devices, we do not consume pro licenses. We do not consume. Even if you register your desk phone on TrueConf Server, and it will consume online license because of successful authentication, we will not consume, we will not the pro license. That's important. And the last technical details before we proceed to the prices is the federation cases. Federation means that while we are online and authenticated on our local server, we can use this local authentication, local display name, local profile details to join the conference on the remote server, on the federated server. Federation is actually a friendship between different servers. So we can reach the remote conference on remote server, or users from remote server can reach our server to join our conferences if we have federation enabled. And this is a very technical question, actually. So we decided that when your local users will participate in remote conferences on remote servers through federation, they will consume your local pro licenses because they are participating in the conference. So that's our licensing limitation at the moment. That's why it will consume it. However, if remote users will participate on your server, on your local conference, they will consume their pro licenses, not yours. So this is a very safe scenario. That means your users will use your licenses. External users will never use your licenses, so you are pretty safe. And we have some outcomes from that. For example, and this is actually a life hack, you can use it. If you connect to your local conference users from let's say older versions of TrueConf Server before 5.3, we will not count the pro licenses because older versions don't have them, so they can join without any limitations. Or if you have a TrueConf Enterprise deployment, some customers have Enterprise version, we will not also count Enterprise version pro licenses, so they can also join your server. So there could be some different scenarios. For example, if one user is upgraded to free version and your local server is not upgraded, it doesn't actually create any, not favorable scenarios. It will be a fair play for all parties. Okay. For enterprise, this is very important information, but the idea is very simple. For our enterprise customers, nothing is changing. No changes at all. So if you have, instead of TrueConf Server control panel, if you have TrueConf Enterprise Master Server control panel or TrueConf Enterprise Slave Server control panel, that means you have Enterprise, nothing changing for you. So no pro users, no different rules for online users, nothing will be changed for enterprise customers. So it will remain the same. So basically the division is approximately around 1,000 online users. So if you have more than 1,000 online users, you probably need a second server, because our recommendation is that for approximately, it depends on the actual usage statistics and the technical parameters of the machine. So our recommendations is for every 1,000 active users, online users who is using the system, you need a separate server. And if you need more than one server, this is something we call enterprise, because we need a catalog, global catalog of users. We need licensing, balancing, load balancing, and some other stuff. That's why we call this enterprise. And if you have less than 1,000 online users, you are okay to use TrueConf Server. But this is not a very strict rule. So it depends on the actual usage of the system. So some users could have 1,500 online users and still use server. Some customers, they could have 500 users and they are already enterprise. It depends on different parameters. So they're quite flexible on that.
Lev, but just a question. If a user from TrueConf Enterprise wants to apply the new licensing model, what to do in this case?
We do not offer that, because in TrueConf Enterprise distros, in the application itself, there is no pro licenses. It's not developed. There are none of them there. So what we are doing is we're actually trying to help the medium-sized companies, because for enterprise customers we have very interesting options, and in many cases enterprise is being sold not on user basis. There are different ways to sell it, and there is actually, for larger deployments, it's better to negotiate with us, because we always try to offer the best available scenario, the best available offer, because most of the enterprise cases, they require some customization, some custom development, some modification of the product. And it is very difficult to measure the enterprise prices by number of users or pro users. It's always affects some other changes in the product, special service agreements, special developments. And we don't want to bring this thing with online users and pro users to enterprise field. It will be, we're trying to keep it as simple as possible, this enterprise feature.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go to the prices. So as I told you already, we didn't change the price for a long period of time. So this is not an old screenshot, this is a new screenshot, but the figures and the numbers there are actual prices we didn't change since 2011. So you can imagine, for almost 12 years, we changed nothing, not a dollar in our prices. And if you have a look on us, me and Rudolf, so 10 years ago, we were very different.
Oh my God.
But our prices, despite the fact we are now become very older and have large families, but we become older, but our prices are not. And actually, they remain the same. And this is the idea behind the new pricing. We are not going to raise our prices. They will be the same. So let me show you. So the pro licenses will cost the same amount of money as the old online licenses. No changes at all. So the actual change is the price for online users. But for pro users, if we compare, the old price for online users is the same like new price for pro user. No changes at all. And for online users, we will follow up the price shortly later this week. So we are almost finished it, but the idea is that online users will be 4 times cheaper than pro users in the beginning, but if you purchase more online users, it will become up to 10 cheaper. So they will become very affordable online users. And we will, with the recording of this webinar, we will release on our website, the pricing will be released. You will be able to see it, I believe, next Tuesday or next Wednesday. So check it, but the idea, it will become 4 times cheaper, and in some cases even more cheaper if you purchase more online users. That's idea, to help customers to provide TrueConf applications for every employee, not only for those who participate in group conferences. All other prices will remain intact. So SIP prices, guest connection prices, they will be the same. Active Directory is now free. Streaming is also now will be free if you have an active support plan. And the last thing to cover is the TrueConf Server free version. And for free customers, we also prepared the very nice upgrade. So now the free version will receive almost 5 times more users. So the current free version, which will be available only until next week. And after the next week, it will be the new kind of free server with more capabilities. So the current version has the limit for 12 named user accounts. So they are not concurrent. So that means you have to, you can use only 12 users. So administrator is not able to create 13th or 14th user. So the server free version is limited for 12 users. Up to 12 of them can be online, and that's it. With the new version of free server, we will remove the limitation for the number of user accounts, because we will also provide access for Active Directory integration for free licenses. So the customers who are using the free server will be able to import the whole Active Directory, and they will be able to authenticate up to 50 users using this Active Directory or manual accounts. And that means that the free server will be able to provide chat, group chat, video calls, audio calls, file exchange capabilities for up to 50 users, almost 5 times more. And as for Pro number of users, it will be the same amount. So the same number of Pro users as the previous number of online users will be available for participation in group conferences. And actually, there is a mistake in that slide. It will be 10 Pro users, not 12. So I apologize for this mistake. The 10 Pro users in the new type of free license, not 12. This is a mistake.
Lev, what about the number of active meetings after?
It will be also 1. So indeed, there will be a limitation for 1 active conference in the free version after the upgrade. But this is a good start, actually. So we advise our partners to ask customers to deploy the free version. It is quite useful. And after that, we can provide you any moment with additional pilot projects, additional proof of concept licenses for 1, 2, 3, 4 months to check the solution in the full power. But even the free version now is quite useful, because no other limitations are there. We even have 1 SIP connection, 1 guest connection. They are available. However, free server requires, like before, the free server requires online connection. So free server every 24 hours checks the connectivity to our registration server using HTTPS connection. And if the server is isolated and not connected to the internet, it will stop. And also, free server don't support the federation. So it is not possible to invite free server users to the conferences on the paid server. It is also not possible to join remote users through federation on the free server inside your local network. Okay. That's it. A lot of stuff, actually. So if you have any questions, we will be happy to answer them.
So let's wait for a couple of minutes if there are any questions. That was really interesting today, and important also.
I believe it is important because we plan to become a more kind of a communicator application, not just a video conferencing application. And it's very tough for us and difficult to introduce new features because we are not web-based. All our applications are native applications. They're based on C++, in case of desktop applications, for example. We also develop native applications for mobiles, which also are expensive, and we need to invest a lot of efforts to introduce new features. But everything we are doing from the scratch. So we are doing on our own. We're not using open source. We're not using browser. We are doing the very clear, very fast, very nice UI things, which will work smoothly and consume less resources, and they're absolutely transparent. So because we're not using any kind of additional libraries available on the market, that's important for us because we want to be able to understand how the product working. We want to be able to introduce any feature our customer requests from us, because we control the technology from the ground, from the network, from the codecs up to the client applications. And because every quarter we add more and more features, and next year our Messenger will become a corporate group chat system with more features like Teams, like nested discussions, emojis, and many other things which are required nowadays. We're also working on many other things like speech recognition, large language models, and some other stuff, very interesting stuff, which will be released next year. Some of things will be released this year. So when our customers or partners choose TrueConf, they will receive new features, a lot of stuff every year. So it's not just a video conferencing anymore.
Daniel wants to join the podium.
Okay.
Daniel Yan.
Daniel, you can say something, we can hear you, but your microphone is disabled. Okay.
Lev, one more question. In about 2 weeks from now, we are going to participate, TrueConf is going to participate GITEX Global in Dubai. What do you think, what is going to be demonstrated over there this time? Because there are so many features, which we just mentioned, and so many new things.
First of all, Rudolf, you will be there, not me. First of all, we'd like to use trade shows like before to meet with our partners, to meet with our customers. So the idea is to meet each other in person. But in terms of demonstrations, we will have our desktop applications, our server, our mobile applications, and our room solution called TrueConf Room. It's like PC-based room endpoint. So all the base stuff, but idea again is to create real life connections, not to show something specific, but all latest updates will be there available as well. By the way, we invite you not just for GITEX. GITEX will be from 15th until 19th of October, as I remember, but a week after the GITEX in Mumbai, in India, there will be InfoComm India. We will be there as well, also for the whole week. And the show itself will be from 25th of October until 27th of October. So by any means, if you will be near Mumbai, we'll be happy to meet with you on InfoComm India as well.
Thank you, Lev.
Tuan, if you have a question, you can use the chat or enable your microphone, please.
Yeah, you can write down these questions in the chat or join us over here. Let's see.
Okay, last point, and we're done. So the idea we are trying to bring to the customers is that with TrueConf Server, it is only possible, no other options are available, to finally bring our customers the privacy of their video communications, because all other options are either open source, which is not very secure or not scalable or not useful for large organizations. But we can guarantee that the video communications will be hold inside the local network, the VPN of our customer. So no connections to the cloud, no dependencies, no foreign software. The private data will never leave the perimeter of the company network, and no other solutions like ours are available on the market. So our message and our idea is to provide the governments and large enterprises and factories and other important customers the privacy of communications, which they don't have at the moment. And this is the biggest challenge we're seeing, and we're bringing back the privacy to our customers. That's important. Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Lev. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today.
Have a nice day then. Thank you. Goodbye.
See you. Bye-bye.